Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back, or welcome to another Bangs audio review. Today's special guest is the Xenns Mangird T2. And yes, I do know that the T Pro has just been released, and the T2 is getting more and more difficult to find, but I assure you it is still available. It is, at least from what I've seen, at least 4 or 5 different sellers on AliExpress. Varying in price from $309 to $349. So we have a somewhat expensive set to talk about today, and it's not like my focus is in any one particular area, other than I don't get ridiculous. Like, I keep eyeing the Canera Imperial Norn and then not buying it because it's like 2.5 years old and it's like $450 when it's not on sale, and I don't know if I'm just not ready. I feel like it would be kind of irresponsible for me to do that right now, especially because I could get 4 to 5 sets that y'all might be more interested in me reviewing, or at least 2 to 3, than one 2.5-year-old set for $450. As much as I may really want that in my heart, it just doesn't make sense for me to do that right now. So maybe a little bit further down the line, if the channel really starts supporting itself, then I can sort of delve into the more expensive sets. But for right now, it's right around that $300 price point is about the limit of what I'm willing to go to. And I also have my buddy Svorzabul, hey dude, who sent me these. So I did not buy these. These are not purchased with my own money. They were purchased with somebody else's money, and they will be headed home shortly after this video, because I'm sure he misses them. Unboxing specs. Luckily for me, the specs are right on the back of the box. So it is a, let's see here, it is a single DD and 6 BA set. And the DD is 10 millimeters, I believe. The BAs are a mix of 4 Sonian and 2 Knowles, so they're not screwing around with that. Configuration is very similar, or say the same as the Canera Celeste Relentless, for example. It's just that the driver quality in this set, obviously being more than twice the price of the Relentless, the driver quality is getting towards the upper end of what's available to put in to sets. And it shows, believe me, it shows. Right. So, 18 ohm resistance, 110 decibel sensitivity, and a frequency range of 20 hertz to 36 kilohertz. This is available in the 3 terminations, so not modular, but available in 2.5 balanced, 4.4 balanced, and 3.5 single-ended. This was 4.4 balanced that my buddy got, so that's what we tested it in and on. As far as the unboxing goes, you might imagine in this price range, it's pretty slick, pretty premium feeling. It's got this little metal engraved T2 there on the box, embossed, graphic. What do we call that? Sigil. Anyway, it's their thing, and then inside the box you get a variety of ear tips. You get the said cable, which is here. You get this beautiful leather storage case, a beautiful cable, non-tangly, very, very nice, and then these very, very nice earphones, which have quite a bit of detail. I'm not wearing the headlamp anymore because it just reflects too much on my computer screen, but I'll bust it out here so we can take a look at the details. So sparklies and pieces of oyster shell or mother of pearl in there, and then it says Mangird on the shells. For some reason I thought that said Asgard. I think there's an IM called Asgard, but no, it's not Asgard, it's Mangird. Okay, there we go. So they're gorgeous faceplates on these shells, and relatively small in size considering what they're housing. A full-size DD and 6 BAs in there, and I would say they're medium size, definitely very ergonomic and comfortable to wear for long periods of time. Trust me, I did not want to take these guys out. I just didn't. They were so good. My buddy also likes to trip me up sometimes. He'll use the little booties here that came with binary Xenns audio Chopin. He'll throw those on something if they're traveling, to me. And then I look at them and I go, not this time. They don't belong to this set. They belong to the Chopin. Yeah, and then down below, ear tips. Ear tips, ear tips, ear tips. Really nice, high quality ear tips. 3 pairs each of silicones in normal and wide bore, and then a couple of sets of foams. Well, pairs of foams. Warranty card, user manual, and you get airplane adapter, which is pretty fantastic, and you get your 3.5 to 6.35, which I guess if you order the 4.4 or the 2.5, those aren't going to do you much good for this set, but you can always cable swap or use it for a set that's got 3.5 on it. If you're going to take it on the plane, throw a 3.5 termination cable on it and take your adapters. I mean, it's, better to have that stuff than not, and it is cool that they included it. At the initial release price of $350, little things like that matter to people. I mean, they would matter to me. So there you go. Unbox and specs. Finito. The T2. I think this set, when it was released, what was it? Yeah, it's 2 years, or maybe it was a little bit over 2 years ago. I think this set was very well received, and for good reason, because when I first put these in, my initial reaction to it was, wow, these sound like the Dunu Xenns Audio Da Vinci. Like, so much so that I had to bring up graphs after I graphed them and brought up the Da Vinci graph and set them next to each other. I posted it in the community, and they're fairly close insofar as the graph goes. But insofar as the actual performance goes, boy, it would be really hard to pick between the two of them. But I will say that the T2's expansive soundstage does beat out the Da Vinci. The Da Vinci is a little bit more, I'm not going to call it intimate because it's not. It's just not as grand of a soundstage as the T2 is. That's a personal preference. If you don't care or even want a large soundstage, then the Da Vinci is probably a better choice for you. Yeah, when it comes time when 11/11 sales hit, and I decided to treat myself to a single, more expensive set, I'm going to have a really hard time picking between the T2 and the Da Vinci. Like, a really hard time. And I would even throw the T Pro into the mix, but I haven't tried it yet, so I can't really tell you for sure. But we're going to comp the graphs on that and talk about that a little bit too, because there's something that gives me just a little bit of pause on the T Pro based on its graph versus the T2, which I obviously already know that I freaking love, and would love to be, an owner of said set instead of just a borrower. The other set that they really, really reminded me of, just insofar as overall sound quality goes, and a bit in sound stage and signature, was the Canera Hodor, which is another one of my favorite sets. You guys, I don't know if I've checked it out, but I did put up a ranking list in the community section. All 88 sets that I've reviewed are on that. The only set that didn't make the list was the QKZ Hades, and I would put that in the bottom category anyway. So it's 89 sets with just one added to the bottom. But we all, you guys know how I feel about that, and in full deference to HBB for releasing that set and the purpose of it, I understand. Just me, no me, thank you. But I've said that enough. So you know, uh, as you'd expect, the set did not have a weak point for any of the test tracks that I put it through, nor any of the albums that I listened to on it. It is full on all around set. It just doesn't have a weakness that I could detect. The Performer 8, when you get, like, as another comp, when you get into the upper treble of the Performer 8, it gets a little bit unnatural. It has a little bit of that sort of zizzy thing going on. Nothing like that on the T2. The T2 stays very natural, but extremely technical at the same time. The bass on this, I think, is one of the things that does set it apart. And you guys know I love my bass. You know, it's not just the bass that sets it apart. It's a lot of other things too. But from what I understand, from the original T, they increased the bass by about 30%, I believe is what I read. They've got the bass on this at a level that, to me, is just about perfect. I mean, literally, it's just like the perfect amount of bass. There's plenty of it, but it doesn't overtake anything else. It just has, it's just so freaking satisfying. And I think it leaves enough, like, you know, as it goes. Well, let me bring up the graph, because as it goes into the mids, it leaves enough warmth to the set where it just feels very comfy and cozy without seeming like there's any real bleed happening. Like I said, it doesn't seem to cover anything. Looking here, over here, yep. All right, so the sub bass rumble is excellent on it. No lack of sub bass rumble at all. The mid bass, as you can see, fairly elevated, but in comparison to the rest of the frequency response graph, it is not tremendously overdone. You know, like, you're looking at 88.5 decibels on that SPL there. Ear gain tops out at 88.82, and mid treble the same. You get a little dip around sibilance, which is obviously purposeful and perfect, and then just a little rebound after 6K, 7K, and then another one around 10, 11, 12K. So it surfs, like, you know, it's got a great release. The ear gain is not super energetic, but the way that it interacts with the treble, the way it releases into the treble, you don't need any more ear gain than that. It's got plenty of energy, it's got plenty of extension. Vocals are very natural sounding and, you know, fairly forward, not super like in your face, but you won't struggle to hear male or female vocals, even if there's a lot of stuff going on, like with Spirit Box or Mastodon. God, I can't believe I spaced that name for a second. Yeah, and the mids are just well done and engaging and clear. Slightly warm, engaging, clear. Like I said, doesn't have a weak point. And if you look at this graph and you look at it compared to the Da Vinci, which, gosh, maybe I can bring that up really quick. I'd like to see if I can bring it up fairly quickly. Too many windows. Okay, YouTube stuff. Da Vinci. What did I do? How did I sort this? This is dumb. Reverse alpha. Yeah. Da Vinci. There we go. Okay, so yeah, here's the Da Vinci graph. Yeah, one of these things is quite a bit like the other, as you can see. Look at that, and then look at this. You know, you can get with that, you can get with this, you can get with this, you can get with that. Yeah, so like I said, it's going to be hard for me to decide between the two. I might lean towards the larger soundstage just because when I am engaging in certain activities, pain relief for my back, which has actually ended up being the best of anything. Having a little medical marijuana seems to have the best effect on the overall pain level I'm in, so I see no issue with that. Anyway, but yeah, so larger soundstage, a little more immersion on the T2 leads to a very enjoyable experience when I'm treating my pain. I'll just put it that way. But man, yeah, the Da Vinci's still a really good set. Still well worth the price too, $300. These things will be on sale. Yeah, I've seen the Da Vinci go as low as $250. I don't know if it'll go lower than that because it's fairly new. I haven't been paying attention to the price of the T2 other than just for the past couple of days. $309 is the low from Heyoda store, which I had a great experience with, but my friend did not have as good an experience with, so I still recommend them. They're responsive, but I think they had a little bit of a delay problem in sending one of the sets he ordered. I believe that has been straightened out as of now. So yeah, Heyoda's going to have the lowest price at $309. You can also, probably get those coupons, those discounts from like Linsole or Hi-Fi Go. They all participate in the 11/11 sales. This would be a set that if you're interested in shopping in that sort of $250-ish range, I think you probably will be able to get them for around that. I'd say I already put them on as bangers, like they're like in my top 6 sets of all. They're well worth that price. So they're well worth $309. They're worth $350, but just don't pay $350 because you don't have to. Just be patient, be smart, and you should be able to get them for well under $300. I would think. Even as it stands right now with a $30 coupon, that brings it down to $280. So yeah, that's a no-brainer. If you're shopping in that price range, this is a no-brainer set. Now, what did I want to bring up? I wanted to bring up before we wrap this up, because I'm just going to give it a highly recommended. It's a banger. It's extremely good at everything. It's very technical. It is very engaging. It's got lots of bass. It's got great treble. It's got good mids. I don't know what else to say, guys. It's just a fantastic freaking set. I love it. Maybe for some, it might be just a little bit too mellow, maybe not quite enough energy in the treble for you. If you're a real treble airhead kind of person, that's your preference. They're not dark, but I'm just gonna say they might not be bright enough for you. I think that would be a fair assessment, but that's the only thing that would prevent me from saying they're a great set for everybody for any reason. So just a little bit maybe lighter on the treble than some might prefer, but that's it. That's my only criticism of them. And it's not a criticism, it's an observation. So let's get that straight. Here is the T Pro graph for you. Yeah, looks like the mid bass has been reduced a little bit, and that's why I'm probably going to stick with the T2. But my buddy might get the T Pro, so if he does, he'll let me borrow it, I'm sure, and I can just compare them. But anyway, that's going to do it. Highly recommended set. Awesome job by Xenns. Mangird T2, 100% recommended. Just fantastic, great, wonderful. Be careful, be safe, be nice. Love y'all. Nothing but peace to ya, and we'll see you soon.